You are looking at 6 of the podcast hosts in the best division in Major League Baseball.
Step up to the plate. It's the Locked On MLB Squad Show. From the Dodgers to the Astros, the Mets to the Rangers, and everyone else in the league, with the experts of the Locked On Podcast Network bringing you the most comprehensive breakdown of all the action around the horn. We're coming in spikes up. No hurt feelings allowed, so squad up.
This is the Locked On MLB Squad Show in El Central version. My name is Jeff Carr. I'm one half of Locked On Reds. My co-host Steve Offenbaker is with me here as we are ready to tell everybody why standings aren't changing for the rest of the year. So I'm really glad that you guys showed up to celebrate with us. With us, though, we also have JD Hafron from Locked On Cardinals, Gary Morgan from Locked On Pirates, Sam Olbur from Locked On Cubs, and Chuck Freimund from Locked On Brewers. And gentlemen, it's been a heck of a start to the season already. We're a month into this thing, and there is no other division in baseball that has a better record than the NL Central, because no one in the NL Central is under 500 yet. So with that being said, who is the most real team in all of this? Because it feels as though there's been a lot of fun with just about every single team here.
Well, I'll jump in first. I'll tell you what the big surprise for me is that in this bunch, Chuck's Milwaukee Brewers are at the bottom of the division right now. I mean, I expected a fall off. I expected this to be the year that everybody in the division had to take it away from the Milwaukee Brewers. But for them to be 4.5 games, roughly 3.5 games out of first place as we're recording, and them trailing the division is a big surprise to me. The other big surprise to me is that we haven't got to bash on the dirty birds that are the St. Louis Cardinals like we had all hoped. You know, we went into this season, everybody expecting them to just be this steaming pile of hot garbage that we've been longing for, and we're not quite there yet. Now, maybe things will sort themselves out and we'll get there, but right now haven't been able to talk smack at JD. The Brewers have fallen off, and yet, Jeff, you and I get to revel in the fact that the Cincinnati Reds are division leaders.
You know, it's
by one game. I love it.
I will say this. In Milwaukee, there's a faction of people who think, well, Milwaukee's going to eventually I talked to a fan today. Oh, we're eventually going to catch fire, and we're going to pass those. The Reds are frauds. Oh, the Cubs, you know that. And all the Cardinals, of course, they're on a losing skid right now. And the Pirates are the Pirates. And I told this guy, I said, man, everybody in this division, don't first of all, don't think that way. Everybody in this division has gotten better in the offseason. Everybody looked at us and said, and I'm sure the owner said, why is that team in Milwaukee winning 97 games? How are they much better than us? We got more resources. We got better players. How are they doing it in Milwaukee? We got to stop that team over there. Other teams have gotten better. You all have gotten better over the winter, and you guys are better teams. Even JD, you know, I don't ever count at the Cardinals with his team. So I feel like there's a faction there that the Brewers are just going to eventually rip off 40 or 50 again. Going to be a tough division, and yeah, nobody's going to be. We're not going to have all 5 teams win with winning records throughout the season, but don't think that this is going to be a cakewalk, and the Brewers are just going to suddenly surge by you all this year.
I mean, I think the Pirates have started laying the most evidence out. Right, we're 6-3 in the division already, all on the road. Haven't even played anybody at home yet. That starts tomorrow or today, whenever this drops. And I think their strength of schedule is harder than the rest of the division too. If you just look at the records of the teams they've played, Pirates have had a harder hoe to toe so far.
Yeah, I think you know, with the Brewers, I'm not getting trapped again this year. I'm not falling for it yet. I'll fall for it like right around July 4th if they're still hovering around 500. The Reds have been interesting because obviously Sal Stewart and the breakout there, but they've been unbelievable in close games. I think they're 7-0 in 1-run games or something like that. Jeff, I don't know, Steve, I could be
7-0 1-run, 9-0 2 and
because I'm not a huge run differential guy, because I think a lot of people would look and be like, well, the Reds are in first place, but they only have a +1 run differential. I played that game with the Brewers before and lost, a couple years. So, and then the Cubs I think the Cubs are probably, record wise, people are like, yeah, it's right about where they should be, 17-11. But the path there has been really odd. It was a slow start, pretty much lost every meaningful pitcher that you could think of. And then out of nowhere, just racked up 10 in a row against the Phillies and Mets, and the Phillies and Mets have seen better days. So it's been interesting. I will say, like Gary said, the Pirates being 6-3 in their division, that was the one series when they came into Wrigley. The Cubs stole a game from them on Sunday, but they beat up on the Cubs. They looked really good at Wrigley, and they didn't pitch Skeens. It was a 2 out of 3 win without Skeens pitching. So I was impressed with that.
Cardinals wise, we're just happy to be here, boys. Thank you for just allowing us to hang out for a little while. April's been fun and entertaining. We're at the beginning of 17 games in 17 days, and we started at 0-3, getting swept by the Seattle Mariners, who all of a sudden their bats got real hot, and they looked legit again. I know they had a tough start to the season, but Cardinals, we know where we are, and we're having fun, enjoying the new direction, which has given us a little bit of life so far this year. Being above 500, it's been fun. I don't know how much longer it's going to last. We get the Pirates next, and then I think we got the Dodgers. It's quite the gauntlet we're getting ready to run through, so things might get bloody quickly in St. Louis. I'm just hoping our fan base is prepared for that.
It's going to be interesting to see how everybody kind of holds up, because as fun as it has been of a start to a season for the Reds, it's a start. And there's so much more to get into. I mean, April doesn't make you cannot win the division in April, but you certainly can lose it. Right. And for once, the Reds just aren't losing it. Like the David Bell era, that's all they did was they punted April and they didn't start playing until May. And for once, they're playing in April. And that's what's got everybody in Cincinnati just so stoked. Because I don't think we've seen there's been a couple of good games they played against Minnesota and Detroit where you just saw the lineup go crazy. But coming into the season, the reason to believe in the Reds were the top 4 in their pitching rotation. Hunter Greene, Nick Lodolo have not pitched yet this season. And Andrew Abbott and Brady Singer Brady Singer's been much better here recently, but Andrew Abbott's been a shell of himself. Like the guys that are leading this rotation are Chase Burns, Brett Lauder, and the bullpen. The bullpen picks up where the rotation just cannot seem to hold on to. And so we're hoping that this is sustainable. But the good news is the lineup as a whole just hasn't gotten going yet. We started to see that churn a little bit this weekend with Matt McClain, and we started to see some other guys really pitch in as well. I mean, Eugenio Suarez hits the IL, and Nate Lowe says, thank you very much for the opportunity. I'm just going to hit a bunch of bombs now. And so that was a ton of fun to see. And then the other JJ in the division now, JJ Weatherholt, he's doing his thing. Now the Reds got a JJ as well. And apparently that's just the key to hitting well. Just have a JJ on your team because he shows up and hits a bomb in his first game. So there's so much about these early season results that's a ton of fun. But I think the key to all of it, and the reason why I very sarcastically and not seriously at all declared the division title yet is because you're right, Gary. Like nobody's really played in division yet. And I think the 9 games that the Pirates have played are the most in division right now. And we haven't really seen those battles take place just yet. So I think I kind of want to get the view of the rest. Cause like Sam, you mentioned the Phillies and the Mets looking like shells of themselves has me wondering, is the door open for 3 or 4 playoff teams from the NL Central? We'll discuss that coming up next. If you've got a sweet tooth like I do, you know how tough it is to find the perfect balance that has a treat that gives you everything that you want and it's not packed with sugar. That's why the Confetti Craze 5-Hour Energy Shot brings the nostalgic flavor back in a whole new way. This is that classic taste that you remember, but it's got that tasty caffeine boost and 0 sugar. It's a quick, easy way to satisfy the sweet craving while keeping things simple and on the go. I've always loved eating a piece of birthday cake, regular cake, chocolate cake, yellow cake, all the cake. Cake is good. But if you have a piece of cake a day, well, probably going to end up in the hospital pretty quick. This is a perfect alternative because Confetti Craze 5-Hour Energy gives you the feeling of, having a nice piece of cake, but there's no sugar, and it gives you that kind of caffeine boost that you're looking for. It's become my go-to when I want something sweet without going overboard. The Funfetti flavor is back on 5hourenergy.com or on Amazon. Crack open Confetti Craze 5-Hour Energy shots today. You love your team. You make us part of your day every single day, and we invite you to take it up a notch. Go ad-free. Check out the Everydayer Club. If you're a Cardinal fan, a Pirates fan, a Brewers fan, a Cubs fan, or a Reds fan, we got an Everydayer Club for you. Check out lockedonpodcast.com/Everydayer Club, I believe is the thing, and I should have pulled that in here. Anyway, we've got a link in the description of today's show that you can learn more about that. All right, gentlemen, like I mentioned, not a whole lot of in-division games just yet. We've seen a lot of NL Central teams beating up on other division teams. The Reds have pretty much played what feels like all of their interleague schedule. I know that there's still a few other teams in the American League they haven't played yet, but feels like they've spent their time in the American League so far. And then we've seen a lot of NL East bashing from the Cubs. And when we look at the rest of the divisions, at least within the National League, is the door open for a repeat of 3 playoff teams from this division, or could they even get 4? And JD, I'll start with you.
Whew. Man, it's tough because you look at what's going on in the NL West with the Dodgers and the Padres, and
that's true.
Arizona's still hanging around there too. So it's going to be tough. I mean, honestly, what is going to help you guys is where the Cardinals might be by the time we all get to play each other. Finally, we're playing the Pirates here, starting the beginning of this week, and if you're able to take advantage of what we're offering right now on the field, that should do wonders for you guys. Not that we're just going to lay over for anybody, but they'll play you tough. But we've all recognized what the Cardinals are this year. They're probably a below 500 team the rest of this way. So that might be helpful for you. NL West has got the Rockies to kick around for the most part. So you always kind of need that one team that's just not there with everybody else to take advantage of. I mean, I like everything that your guys' teams are doing. Again, I trust in Milwaukee that eventually they'll get things going in the right direction. Cubs rattling off 10 in a row, did not see that one coming, but I definitely think they're the good roster. The Reds doing what they're doing, and the Pirates are real. They are real. I've watched plenty of their games this year, and they went out and got some important pieces. It's going to be tough for 3 to make it. I find it hard to believe that that'll happen again. I'd rather, if I had to take an over-under, I'd give me 2 is where I would go with it.
It's about what we said preseason. Sam, do you think that the Phillies and the Mets that you saw are the real Phillies and the Mets?
No, but they're digging a pretty big hole. And I do think definitely not 4, but I do think 3 is in play. If you think about it, what's going to probably win our division, maybe low 90s, something like that, 90, 91, 92. And then, you look at the Pirates, you look at the Reds, you look at the Cubs, look at the Brewers. Like I said, I'm still not buying the start for the Cardinals. I do think eventually it'll head down just because literally like their front office has told you that pretty much. But I could see the Pirates and the Reds, Cubs, and Brewers all being in the mid to high 80s. So, that just mathematically it could be enough. So I definitely could see 3. Because what did you guys get in the Reds last year? 83, right? Or was
83.
Yeah. So I think it'll be a couple higher than that. So I definitely could see 3.
I definitely could see 3. When we did this before the season started, I said I thought 3 teams could get in again. And I think for sure. I think Atlanta's one for sure is great. And I think that, you look at the 2 teams you got to
smash these.
And the Dodgers, the Brewers fought it last year. I mean, the Dodgers are still the Dodgers, no matter what they do in the regular season. But I think in this division now, for the first time, like I could say that there is not an easy out. I know we all have beefed up against the American League teams a little bit. The Brewers, even though we're not where we want to be at this point, they've got 3 preferred starters out of the starting lineup: Yelich, Chourio, and Vaughn. So 3 starters have not been able to play. The bullpen has not all been that good.
PTSD, Vaughn. PTSD, Vaughn.
Yeah, Vaughn. Yeah, he's coming back soon. Left side of the infield's not been good. Right fielder has not been hitting well. Frelick right around 200, but hopefully some of these guys can pick it up. But I think, this division, man. I don't know 4 teams, but I think 3 teams for sure, guys.
Yeah, I agree with Chuck. I think 3 teams is very doable. I could see that happening. You look at the National League West right now, they're going to get a wild card team. There's going to be the division winner plus a wild card team out of the West. I don't see any way around that. You look at the East. The East is an absolute train wreck. Right now, the Phillies and the Mets are nearly 10 games back of the division leading Atlanta Braves. That's a lot of ground that they're going to have to make up over the rest of the season. And it's going to be really hard for them to do that. So even if one wild card team comes out of the West, that still leaves it possible for there to be 3 National League Central teams come out. Could it be 2-2 between the Central and the West? Yes. Could it be 3 teams out of the Central? Absolutely. How fun. And especially with this group of hosts, how much fun could we have heading into the postseason if there are 3 National League Central teams that make this postseason? You look, the Reds are for real, the Cubs are for real, the Pirates, God help us, the freaking Pirates are for real. That is where we're at right now. So, and you look at the National League West, the Padres are real, the Dodgers are real. I think the Diamondbacks will eventually fall back in the pack, but those 2 teams, the Dodgers and the Padres, are absolutely for real. There is a lot of good baseball to come over the summer, but I can totally see a scenario where 3 teams come out of the Central, 2 teams out of the West, and that is your postseason.
I think we're going to have 3. I think I'd be kind of surprised if we don't at this point. Phillies are old, and they look it.
Yeah.
And I just think they banked too much on these veterans continuing to play like themselves, and it's clear they aren't. The Mets, they just don't fit. They just were like not built properly, and it feels that way. I mean, this isn't just about injuries. They just feel messy. I feel like they'll turn it around just because there's too much talent there for them not to do something. But the Braves are running away with that division. And it's so silly to say in April, but it's crazy the way they look compared to everyone else in that division.
Their best excuse too, I think, is that their starting rotation is nowhere near healthy, because I think Strider's is coming back on rehab. I think they're trying to think, is it Elder is coming back? There's like a couple other guys that are supposedly coming back on rehab for Atlanta, so they could be even more dangerous here, especially assuming that Ronald Acuna and company actually stay healthy. But no, I feel very strongly with you guys. Like 3 feels like the right number for this division. And yeah, it kind of feels like keeping the Padres out of the playoffs at this point, that would have to require some injuries that we just don't see happening, or just some sort of crazy fall off that makes no sense at this point. Albeit Mason Miller cannot pitch every day. Well, he pitches a lot, and when he pitches, he gets everybody out. But I don't know that there's ever been a person to pitch 162 ball games, and I think somebody might get arrested if that happens. So I don't think
I just fact checked that, Jeff. You are correct. Confirmed. Nobody has thrown 162.
Yeah. That would be a lot. But man, he has pitched really well to begin the season. But I think that overall this division, while it is early and it's hard to separate exactly who is the best in the division as of right now, we know for sure that the teams that are doing it are for real. Because I see all of the factors coming into play that have really improved the Pirates. The Pirates look like a very legitimate ball club. The Brewers they're just always going to be there, period, plain and simple. I get it. They've had to really stretch to fill in some injuries, and they've been probably the most hurt ball club in the division as of right now. Knock on wood, fingers crossed.
Cubbies are pretty close. Cubbies have lost some good.
Yeah, the Cubs.
Yeah,
the Cubs. If you guys can name like 2 Cubs relievers right now active, I'd be really impressed. Because I struggle.
Colin Ray.
Wait, no, Palencia's hurt. I was going to say Palencia. He's hurt.
Palencia's hurt. Colin Ray's now starting.
Yeah.
Mayton's hurt.
Mayton's hurt.
Mark Leiter's in Oakland.
Sacramento. I'm telling you, good luck.
And they just won 10 in a row.
Yeah,
with these guys.
Crazy. It's crazy.
One thing about this division is it's like I told Gary this before we started the podcast. I said I saw more Pirate fans at this 3-game series in Milwaukee than I ever have, and I think that's great for the fans because all these places are pretty much travelable. I mean, Pittsburgh's a long way to go to Milwaukee, but still, we're all in a vicinity where you could travel like in a day and make it back the next day, or that same day. If you want,
I've been to all your ballparks. They're all nice.
Yeah.
I can honestly say that I've liked every single ballpark I've been to here. Wrigley's got its charm. It's old and you can tell, but I loved it. I had a nice time. Everywhere else, though, I really loved. American Family might be one of my favorite ballparks.
Oh, wow.
Plan on hitting it up late June, that's for sure. Is it further to go to Milwaukee from Pittsburgh or St. Louis?
St. Louis. Milwaukee's just a real boring drive for us across Ohio where nothing happens. It's super flat.
Nothing in Ohio, that's for sure.
All they have are Burger Kings.
Except for the first place Reds, right, boys? That's happening.
There is that, but there is a point to that. When my girls were little, you guys all know I live in Hawaii, and my girls were little. I took them on their first trip to a Major League Baseball game in Cincinnati, and we're driving through Ohio. And my oldest daughter was about 9 years old at the time, and she's like, "If you look to the left of the vehicle, you see corn, and if you look to the right, oh look, there's more corn." That was her narration of our trip through Ohio.
She's right. It hasn't changed either.
No, there's
not
much
corn, which would be really cool, but not them.
Yeah,
way more cool.
That's
way more cool.
Yeah.
Corn with
I know this though. If you ask the baseball team up in Cleveland, they don't think that Cincinnati is a part of the state of Ohio. So there's that too. But I think that as we move through this season, there's just going to be so many more developments, like you said, like all these different teams that are hurt, and they're going to get healthy. Who's going to remain the healthiest the rest of the way? But also like that home field advantage, how does that play into all of this? Because like you said, Pirates fans are buying in more. I've seen more Reds fans at the ballpark early on this April than I have in years past. Reds fans are buying into all of this. It's going to be a lot of fun as we move through and kind of talking about those ballparks and what the rest of this division has to offer. We'll look forward to who's got the best home field advantage coming up next. ED is way more common than most guys think. Millions of guys deal with it at some point in their lives, and that's exactly why HIMS offers a straightforward way to take care of it. HIMS connects you with licensed healthcare providers online, giving you access to legitimate ED treatment options from the comfort of your own home. No awkward appointments, no pharmacy lines, just a straightforward process that makes it easier to take care of yourself. The whole process is simple. You just complete a quick online intake and a provider reviews your information. To get simple online access to personalized, affordable care for ED, hair loss, weight loss, and more, visit hims.com/lockedonmlb. That's HIMS.com/lockedonmlb for your free online visit. hims.com/LOCKEDONMLB. Prescription required. See website for details and important safety information. Sildenafil is the generic version of Viagra. Viagra is the registered trademark of Viatris, a specialty LLC. HIMS is not affiliated with or endorsed by Viatris. You can continue the conversation with all of us after the show is over. We're all over social media. There's so many different ways that you can get in touch with each show. Every show is pretty much on every single platform. And we're also talking on the X and Instagram and things like that as well. Kind of keeping you up to date on all of our teams and how they go. I think it's a fun way to keep up with the season as a whole is to follow each host within the division, because I think we all have fun takes about our ball clubs. All right. Speaking of fun takes, who's got the best home field advantage? Let's start with the guy that's got the oldest home field. What do you think there, Sam?
That's a great question. I thought Wrigley was pretty electric last October. I think they went 4-1 at home in the playoffs. Yeah, they went 2-1 against the Padres to win, and then they won both Brewers games. I think I couldn't have the show if I didn't say I think it was probably Wrigley in October, and it has the most fans. I mean, to be fair though, it's such a visitors. It's such a great travel place for visitors. It also attracts the most visitors, but I mean, PNC's great in the playoffs. Like I remember when the Cubs and Pirates played that wild card game in 15. Obviously, Milwaukee. It's hard for me to say Milwaukee because there's always going to be so many Cub fans there if the Cubs were to play there. So I probably have to say the Cubs.
I would say the Pirates will grow into it. The last people that will believe the Pirates are good will be Pirates fans.
Right.
It'll take them the longest to finally embrace it. And really, until school closes, it doesn't matter if we were literally 25-1 right now. This ballpark wouldn't be full. It's just the way it is. It's always been that way. It always will be. Sometime around the middle of the season, we'll start seeing it a lot better. And then if we do make the playoffs, well, some of you in this room have seen how we show out for that.
Yep.
So.
You know, you guys know that Great American Ballpark is, in fact, a bandbox. It is the power hitter's paradise. And unfortunately, for the last several seasons, Cincinnati has operated like a club that did not realize hitting home runs was legal. They had nobody that could take advantage of playing in that bandbox. And for the first time in a long time, there are multiple threats in the Reds lineups that can take advantage of being able to hit home runs over 81 home games. You've got Rookie of the Year candidate Sal Stewart, who has 9 home runs right now, is on pace with a few days left in April to maybe have the most RBIs of a rookie heading into the month of May ever. He might be able to pull that off. You've got Nathaniel Lowe, who has decided, here I am, watch me hit home runs. You've got Elly De La Cruz, who's playing with 2 working legs now, able to hit home runs. He also has 9 on the season. The Reds are going to lean into this bandbox and score a lot of runs and combine that with really great bullpen pitching and the likes of Hunter Greene and Nicola coming back from injury. They've kind of got the perfect storm to have that. They're not quite there yet. They might lean into it. They might get there. They don't have it. Right now, I think the best home field advantage in this division is American Family in Milwaukee. The Brewers fans turn out. It is a environment as a visiting club that's a little hostile. That is a very Milwaukee friendly. They turn out, they show up, they support this team. And like the division record, like winning this division, like playing baseball in this division, I think that crown belongs to Milwaukee until somebody takes it away. The Reds could take it away this year. The Pirates could take it away this year, but that crown rests firmly on the head of the Milwaukee faithful until one of these clubs wrests that away.
And that's only gotten that way in the last couple of years, because for a while, I mean, we almost lost our team in Milwaukee a couple of times. And had they not, we almost lost the Milwaukee Brewers. But the Brewers have never won a World Championship. And, you know, until recent years had not had a history of going to the postseason. And there was not a lot of atmosphere for games. So for fans to support this team like they're doing, the Brewers have really done nothing to earn the fans' trust at all over the years. And yet fans still came out. They had 45,000. They gave away windbreakers on Saturday, 45,000 or so for that game on Saturday against the Pirates. They had 30,000 this afternoon. So yeah, it's been the last couple of years where fans have really stepped it up. Itching, but then they get their heart broken in October. But it is pretty good, especially when the roof is closed. It can get pretty loud in there. We saw that in October. I tell you, that Wrigley Field atmosphere where the Brewers played there, those 2 games of the wild card last year, when they had the Freddie chants going on, I don't ever want to go back to there and see that again.
Yeah, that was. I mean, obviously it's the 10-year anniversary of 16, and 16 was crazy, but that was that game. They got up for those 2 games. I was pretty impressed with the crowd.
Yeah.
Connor Griffin was 10 years old.
It's been a while since St. Louis has been a good playoff destination.
Oh, did you want me to jump in on this conversation?
I was,
Hey guys, JD's here. JD's here.
So, you guys remember 2011? No, see, it doesn't matter.
I do actually.
We don't have any sort of vibe going on at our stadium right now. In fact, it's been a little bit busier than I thought it was going to be because people are excited about some of the young talent like the JJ Weatherholts and stuff. But it's nowhere near what Busch Stadium used to be just a couple of years ago, like 2022 when they were in the playoffs the last time. So But if I had to choose one of you guys' places, I would say Wrigley. Like, I feel like Wrigley's intimidating to me. I feel like Cincinnati, you guys are pretty friendly. You guys are having a good time doing the wave, whatever. Pittsburgh, I know you have your moments. I've never been to Milwaukee, so I don't know what it's like there. But Wrigley, like, it's like a rock concert every time when meaningful baseball is going on there. And I feel like it's intimidating. And I would give, if I had to pick one that I wouldn't want to play in, it would be Wrigley Field.
Yeah, I feel as though it's disingenuous to put Great American in here because the last playoff game at home was it talk about the result, but it was 2012. So, it was a long time ago. And the guy that's leading their front office now, he did a thing, and I won't say what it was, but it was not fun. So it's definitely similar to the Pirates in that regard, where it's like whatever the reputation is, they got to build it. There is none at the moment. I mean, you can pick a couple of points when it was super loud, but none of that was playoff games. I mean, you had the clinch miss in 2010, but you have to go back 16 years for that, and you can go back 11 years and talk about Todd Frazier winning the home run derby, but that was an exhibition. That wasn't anything that counted for anything in the season. So it's tough because I want that to be in the running, but it's nowhere near Wrigley or your American Family. And I think I would put Wrigley just a little bit ahead I can't believe it's been 10 years since there was a World Series there. That's insane to me, but time is undefeated. But I think I would break the tie, and I think I'd vote for Wrigley.
I think the Cubs might be the only team in the division. They've fairly recently have played a playoff game everywhere but Cincy. They played at Pittsburgh in 15 in the wild card game, last year at Milwaukee, and then in 15 they played St. Louis in the divisional. So all those environments. I mean the Cubs won that game in Pittsburgh. That was terrifying. That atmosphere that night. I remember that game so well. I was like, this feels like a college basketball game. Like, this is crazy.
Yeah. The Reds guys remember.
Yeah.
I don't recommend your starting pitcher don't drop the ball on the mound. That's not a good idea.
I think we all have smart fans too. I mean, I really have been to a lot of these ballparks. I've only very recently gotten to join the parade of people that have a generational talent to parade around. And the crowds that have come out to see Paul Skeens pretty sick in all of the division. And they're specifically there for him and knowing he's going to beat on them for a few years. I just think smart fans do that, and I've always appreciated it.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun as we get into the meat and potatoes of the schedule, where our teams are actually facing each other and the division battles really heat up. We're going to be all over that on our individual shows, whether you're talking about Locked On Cardinals, Locked On Pirates, Locked On Brewers, Locked On Cubs, or Locked On Reds. We've got you covered every single day. And we're going to try and do this here once a month just to kind of recap the month in the NL Central when it comes to this NL Central Squad show. Thanks so much for joining us right here.
Jeff, say it.
Best division.
Best. That's right.
Best division in all of baseball. And we're covering it every single day because we are part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.